So welcome to a long overdue episode of the Film Breakdown. Today we got Dead Ringer from the King of Body Horror.
Yeah, it's a David Cronenberg film. He's Canadian, so represent. This is a film about two twin gynecologists, both played by Jeremy Irons. And essentially, this film kind of explores the deep interconnection between their relationship, as well as just kind of how they interact with the outside world. They have a very, very strong connection in pretty much every aspect of their lives. They have the same profession, they date the same women, they live together, they do research together. And when one of them slowly starts to succumb to some psychological torment that's related to a woman that he's seeing, as well as some professional ambitions that he's trying to take on, we slowly start to see this decay in both brothers' mental states and the eventual kind of breakdown of both of them professionally and personally.
Yeah, I really love this one. I've only seen probably two Cronenberg films. I think out of the two, or the three, I should say, this had to be one of his tamest.
Yeah, definitely more of a drama than some of the body horror stuff. You'd think that a movie about gynecologists, and you see some of the crazy equipment that in particular Beverly is trying to use in this film. You'd think there would be a lot more body horror to it, but the body horror is brief and far between. It really is more just a psychological drama.
Yeah, that was one of the. I think this is the only film where you're watching from him where you actually want more of the body horror. Right, even though there's one scene that was really good, it still made you want even more. You know, even towards like the end where I won't go spoiler, where he kind of like uses his tools, and you're thinking that you're thinking that Cronenberg is gonna like use more of his specialties, but he leaves it to imagination, which is surprising for what he's known for, right?
Yeah, a little bit. I think that this film as well is very much kind of a showcase performance, because Jeremy Irons plays both of these brothers, Elliot and Beverly, and his performance is remarkable for so many reasons. I think the first one that struck out to me was just how different he's able to make both brothers appear. I think a lot of times when you see these films where an actor is playing more than one character who looks identical, they basically just say, okay, we're going to put on some different clothes on this person, and we're just going to constantly refer to people by their names, and that's how people are going to
and the audience is going to accept that as that's a whole different person.
Within the first 10 seconds of seeing both of these people in the scene, you can tell exactly who is who just based on the mannerisms. You see Elliot, he's a lot more confident, he's got open body posture, he's a lot more clear when he speaks, he's just overall seems like somebody more extroverted and a little less emotionally fragile, whereas Beverly is the one that
awkward.
A little more awkward, wants to shell into his research a little bit more, doesn't quite like the spotlight.
A
little less confident when he
speaks. That performance is very close, or reminds me of like Tom Hardy from like Legends. You can see that aspect of the characters really
it definitely goes into the Hall of Fame of amazing dual performances. You could also add Jake Gyllenhaal from Enemy in there too.
Oh yeah, that's right. So I think my only issue was that I just wanted more body horror, you know.
Yeah, I think there's certain parts of the film that as you do start to go along, it could have benefited from that, just to kind of heighten the fear and the atmosphere, just to kind of really put you into their mental state a little bit more, as it does start to decay. Because I think by the end it does a really good job of getting around to that, because there's some symbolism. It's more of a metaphor that they talk about with the Siamese twins that are operated on, and how they still kind of feel each other even after the surgery to separate them. And we slowly start to see that metaphor take very literal shapes as this film goes on.
Yeah, I'd say it's probably one of his best. I'd say more, I guess, better writing from him. I'd say that was like one of his best showcases.
Great character writing,
from like building up the characters and just all the drama and stuff. Compared to I don't know what's the other one, Crash. Have you seen that one?
I have not seen Crash. That is one of the ones I still have to watch.
That's the second Cronenberg film I've watched, and that probably has the least amount of body horror, but the story is just so whack and so wild that this one, it just makes this one look so tame.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of sexually perverted things in that one.
So that's why I said like this is probably his tamest, right? But yeah.
And he's still very much imbues this with a lot of atmosphere. Obviously, there's the musical score that's very well done, and whenever the surgeries are happening in the gynecology room, then you got all this red, and it's like the outfit's just like terrifying, and then you see the tools that they're using, and they don't necessarily show a lot of the usage of the tools directly until the very end. But I mean, you can kind of leave it up to your imagination. It's still very horrifying.
What's up with him with all these tools? You know, it's that his tools are like just, I don't know how to explain it. It just looks so like weird, right?
It becomes an obsession for him at a certain point.
Yeah.
Just having to use this, he starts to see these flaws in women. He starts to blame the women and not the tools, which is just such a very strange way of looking at the human body from a surgical perspective. But I mean, humans weren't exactly consulted on the design process, right?
Yeah, one of the things I would have loved to see was his perspective when he started kind of hallucinating and then creating the tools. Like, what did he see inside people? Right.
Yeah,
like
that's
were
a
they
good point.
bugs or were they aliens? Because like why was the organs so switched up? Right.
I think that's the kind of thing that if you watch another David Cronenberg film, a much more recent one, Crimes of the Future, your thirst for that will be satiated very much.
That's on the list for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, this one, we didn't even realize it when we selected it for this double feature, but it turned out they were remaking it into a miniseries with Rachel Weisz.
Yeah, that's right.
Crazy timing on that.
I was confused because when you told me the title and I Googled it and I got that trailer right away, I was like, wow, we're watching this?
Yeah, I haven't seen the series yet. Probably some good things, some updates for modern audiences. I imagine that may or may not be good choices narratively.
One of the reviews on Letterboxd, I think someone got an early viewing of the remake and said that Rachel's performance was better than Jeremy Irons.
Well, that's a bold statement.
And then they gave it like I think like a 4.
Well, if they say so, it's an extremely high bar. But I mean, if any actress can pull it off, Rachel Weisz is definitely among the short list.
Yeah. So, what do you rate it?
Yeah, this one, very solid film by Cronenberg. Not quite in my favorites of his, but he does have a pretty consistent catalog of films overall. I'm giving this a solid 3.5 out of 5.
Yeah, I think I gave it 3. I gave it 3. Man, I forgot to check it.
You gave it 3.
Okay.
Yeah, we were pretty closely aligned on this one.
Yeah. Would you recommend it to everyone?
I would recommend it. I think it is more accessible than a lot of other David Cronenberg films. We have one particular friend who is terrified of horror films. I think he could have handled this one. I really do.
Yeah, this one he should be. If he can't, then there's nothing else for him.
Yeah, I think if you're introducing this to somebody who doesn't necessarily love horror but just loves a good drama and can appreciate a great performance, then this might be a good introduction to David Cronenberg films.
Yeah, you know who
nice
you are.
soft one.
You know who you are. Well, I guess that concludes the episode. Tune in and subscribe, like, comment, and see you on the next one. Right?
Yeah, we'll be back for more talking about batshit crazy cinema and showing you some great options.
All right, see ya.